Hare Krishna. Gauranga. It's working now.
So it's mic 2.
Mic 2. Gauranga.
Is that okay?
Should be loud enough, right?
Try now.
Hare Krishna.
I think that's okay.
Yeah, it should go out in the audience, right? It should be okay. It's good.
So what it is, you take it to which one you want, but then you press that to do the volume. Like you push it in to do the volume up and down. So when I stop pressing, that just makes you select which one you want. And then we do this, then we can go up and down. Press it in.
Okay, now it's working. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijanna Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Antaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Swami Bhaktivedanta ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You know this thing? I don't know where it is. And you know where it is? You can, if you want to. You can ask, because I don't know where it is. I had a look. Then you can do it if you know how to do it. You can sit on this side. Bhagavad Gita class is going on. Yeah. Why is this loose? It's not over there? It's over there in the corner. Have a look. Corner में देखेगा. I'll show you. Tell him, okay, I start class. He's coming? Okay, okay. Is he on phone, Prabhu? Is he on phone? He phone में है phone? No, I just start class. If he comes, he comes. We don't have much time. So you can keep this with you. When he comes, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Chapter 18, conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Chapter 18, text number 54. Brahma Bhuta Pashanatma Na Sochiti Na Kanchati Sama Sarvasu Bhuteshu Mag Bhakti Labate Param Brahma Bhuta Pashanatma Na Sochiti Na Kanchati Sama Sarvasu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labate Param. You want to try? You know, you can sing. You say? You know the verse? You know? You don't know? Okay. You say? Okay. I'll go through word for word. Brahma Bhuta, being one with the Absolute. Being one with the Absolute. And I'll just go through myself. Prashanatma, fully joyful. Na, never. Sochati, laments. Na, never. Kanchati, desires. Sama, equally disposed. Equally disposed. Sarveshu, to all. Bhuteshu, living entities. Mad Bhaktim, my devotion service. Labate, gains. Param, transcendental. One who, thus transcendently situated, at once realizes Supreme Brahman and thus becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotion service unto me. Srila Prabhupada's purport is quite elaborate on this point. But I heard a class by Giriraj Swami. He gave an elaborate explanation on this particular purport. So, I'll summarize the purport. Yeah. Okay. Suppose it's good to go to the purport. Let's see. To the impersonalist, achieving the Brahma Bhuta stage becomes one with the Absolute is the last word. But for the personalist or pure devotee, one has to go still further to become engaged in pure devotional service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotional service, Supreme Lord, is already in a state of liberation, called Brahma Bhuta, oneness with the Absolute. Without being one with the Supreme Absolute, one cannot render service unto Him. In absolute conception, there is no difference between the served and the servitor, yet the distinction is there in a higher spiritual sense. In the material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery, but in the absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee in Krishna consciousness has nothing to do with, nothing for which to lament or desire, since God is full. A living entity who is engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness becomes also full in himself. He is just like a river, cleansed of all dirty water. Because a pure devotee has no thought other than Krishna, he is naturally always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain. Because he is full in the service of the Lord, he has no desire for material enjoyment, because he knows that every living entity is a fragment of part and parcel. You know how to do this, it's a bit loose. You know how to tighten this. A bit loose, you know. This side is loose. How do you tighten it?
Yeah. Is it on?
It looks like it's on, yeah. That's good, that's good.
Is it chapter?
54, yeah. 1854. Okay. Okay, so I'll start speaking on the topic now. So this is from Omagyanti Mandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chaksurmeta Mena Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bistam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnu Panaya Krishna Pasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasta Chai Satarine. So as long as we identify with the body, it will give us misery. If one enjoys illicit, okay, where is it? Okay, this is the one, yeah, by Giriraj Swami. So, if we have a disease, then the medicine one has to take according to doctor's advice or a label. One cannot take the medicine according to one's personal whims. The Bhagavad Gita was spoken 5,000 years ago to Arjuna, who accepted Krishna's instructions seriously. So if we want to benefit in the same way as Arjuna, we have to accept Krishna's instructions seriously. In Bhagavad Gita 12:13, Arjuna is glorifying Krishna. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Paritam. Yeah. 10, 13. Yeah. Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitam Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Sasatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Avibhum, Ahus Tvam Rasayam Sarva, Devisha Narada Stata, Asita Devala Vyasa, Swayam Seva Bhuvi Simi. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. And all the great sages such as Narada, Asita and Devala and Vyas come from this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. So in the purport to this, Prabhupada elaborates how Krishna is different from the individual living entity in the material world. His body is his body never changes like our body in the material world. His body is spiritual. Our body, which we have in the material world, goes through 6 changes: birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, and disease, and then get offspring if you get married. So it goes through these changes, but Krishna's body never changes like our body. And sometimes it happens like people get into the rituals of doing something for forefathers and their fathers left their bodies and like this. But Prabhupada explains in this verse to Bhagavad Gita in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Devashi putapna piti ninanam narkinkarati rajan savratmasanam mukunda parikachanam, that if one has surrendered to Krishna, he has no obligation to family, society, nation, country, because ultimately everything is coming from him. So so even our forefathers, fathers, great-grandfathers, ultimately they're coming from Krishna. So if we turn to Krishna, our obligation becomes blank slate. So even Prabhupada, he commented in one of the lectures teaching Queen Kunti, he said, someone is thinking, I'm mother, I'm father, but ultimately Krishna is the mother and father of everyone. So Prabhupada explained that we are just dancing like monkeys. So, so Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita for our benefit. He left his teachings behind for our benefit, that if we take to these teachings, then we can also become relieved of the material miseries of this material world. And the Bhagavad Gita is like a road map. Just like when you get a machine, you get a map to show you how a machine runs. So Bhagavad Gita is like a map to show you how to get out of the material world. Krishna is explaining himself that if you surrender to him, you can become free from the repeated cycle of birth and death. You can attain your eternal relationship with him. So one who does not take shelter of Krishna's teachings will come on the bodily platform. So there was a richest man in the world, John Khadi. He was being interviewed. The reporter asked him, "You have everything. What do you think about? Can you give an answer in one word?" He said, "More." That means he was not satisfied. He may be thinking, I'm investing $2 billion in business. This is something of hankering and lamenting. One who is on the bodily platform suffers miseries. But one who takes to the Brahma Bhuta platform, this is easily achieved by... So, as soon as we identify with the body, then the mode of ignorance comes in. Because the material world is governed by 3 modes of nature. Goodness, passion, ignorance. And there are many transcendentalists, they approach in a way to understand they are not the body, just a soul. But that in itself will not give one perfection, because if one approaches in that way, one will go to the Brahman. In the Brahman, one will not find happiness. One may get some peace, but the happiness will not be fully there. And the example is given, Prabhupada gives an example in one of his lectures. He says, if someone gives you a nice house with all the opulences in it, nice furniture and everything you may desire, but the condition is you can have no association. You have to be by yourself. Would anyone accept? No one will accept. Because we are social beings. We want to have association with others. So going to the Brahman is like that. You're by yourself. So, so Lord Chaitanya, he's giving the highest. He's giving the understanding on how we can go back to with Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. He's giving the highest destination to the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. And previous to Lord Chaitanya's coming, to achieve this highest perfection would be very, very difficult. Because Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Manushanam Saseshu Kashijata Siddhaya Yatana Visadanam Kashimari Tatvata. Out of many millions who endeavor on this path, only a few come to understand something on the path of self-realization. And out of many of those thousands, one comes to understand who is Krishna. So it's not easy. It's easy for those who are serious and deep thinkers. But those who are not serious and deep thinkers, it becomes difficult. Because in the material world is governed by mode of ignorance. So when you're surrounded by mode of ignorance, it's hard to see the truth. So you have to have guidance from those who are self-realized. So So Srila Prabhupada gave his example on this. Even Giriraj Swami gave the example himself, how when in 9/11 blast happened in New York, right? The big building got... He went at that time to do a few things in that area. And he could see many people were tensed up. They were like very frightened what's going to happen. So he went in the normal robes and tilak and everything. And people saw him and they were frightened. But then another devotee told the people there that this is a Hare Krishna monk. We don't get involved in breaking principles like illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication. We rise early in the morning. So Giriraj Maharaj gave his insight. He said, even though people were tensed up, I wasn't disturbed, because I knew I'm not the body. And I understood that Krishna is all-pervasive. He's all-pervasive. And He's protecting everybody. And nothing can happen without His sanction. So, this example of how Krishna wants us to be coming back to Him, and how He sends His intimate devotees to help us come back to Him. Example was given in the 1970s, when the Third World War could have happened from Russia to India or America, like that. They were all going to use their weapons. So Prabhupada, he stepped the land of America in 1965. So then this person who was going to press the button, he decided not to press the button. And when he read Prabhupada's book on his life biography, he understood why. Because Prabhupada came to change the destiny of the whole population of the world. Because this material world is karma bhumi. There's good karma, bad karma. And at some point the karma comes to a peak where things go down. People are not open to following the path of righteousness. They're not into following the spiritual path. They're into following their own way of life. And because this is Kali Yuga, it can be very difficult also. In Kali Yuga, everything becomes upside down. In previous ages, you used to have proper brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas. They used to follow certain guidelines. In Kali Yuga, everything is mixed up. But Lord Chaitanya has given an easy path. By chanting the holy name, you can overcome all these difficulties. So even though we see now there's difficulties there in 2025 coming in, but Srila Prabhupada gives a way out of this difficulty. He says, there's a verse in the 11th canto, chapter 32 text. In the 11th canto, there's a proper is given how if one has faith in Lord Chaitanya's teachings and one understands he's not the body, then even these difficulties will not affect one. So Srila Prabhupada, he showed the way how to come to this spiritual platform. He came at the age of 70 to America. Even now, big business people, after reading Prabhupada's books, they comment that they could not have done what Prabhupada did within such a short time. Within 11 years, he opened 108 temples. He translated over 70 books. And he established a GBC body of Brahmanas to guide the society like this. He wrote over 5,000 letters. So even they admit they couldn't have done it what Prabhupada did at the age of 70. So Srila Prabhupada's position as Prabhupada is not just like an ordinary guru like you get in India. There's a book called Chaitanya Mangal. In there, Lord Chaitanya is commenting that, because when Lord Chaitanya was present on the planet, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself who came as a devotee in a golden form. So whoever saw Lord Chaitanya, they would become devotees very quickly, just by seeing him. So Lord Chaitanya, he converted the Buddhists, he converted the Jains, he converted many people in his time. Whoever saw him become devotees of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya said, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. He also converted the Mayavadis. Mayavadis are they deny Krishna as a person, they minimize him as an energy. So even he made them into devotees in Kashi. He made 60,000 of them into devotees of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he said that the people who I could not capture in my net, in my time, I'm going to send my Sanapati Bhakta around the world, and he's going to spread the holy name of Krishna around the world. And he'll capture everyone else. So we can see in this way, Srila Prabhupada's teachings are very prominent for everyone to take to. And the other thing is, Srila Prabhupada, his point of approach was that you have to accept Krishna as a person. So Prabhupada commented in one of his lectures, he said, before my writing Bhagavad Gita, many of the commentaries did not accept Krishna as a person. They minimized him as an energy. So after Prabhupada wrote the Bhagavad Gita, he made so many devotees of Krishna. So I suppose here the newcomers don't know much about Lord Chaitanya. You heard about Lord Chaitanya before? No, not much, right? So I'll give you insight about who Lord Chaitanya is in his pastimes. How he's so merciful that he even made the people who are very weak into advanced devotees. So when Prabhupada came to America, he came in touch with the hippies. And hippies had no knowledge about Krishna consciousness. They were just caught up in their lifestyle. And they didn't even follow any principles. No purity, nothing. So when Prabhupada came, he told them about who is Lord Chaitanya. He preached the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. He gave them prasad. He taught them the process of chanting Hare Krishna. So slowly they were trying to follow. And because they accepted Lord Chaitanya, all of them became devotees. So Prabhupada said, actually, I'm just Krishna's postman. Lord Chaitanya is using me, but it's by his mercy all of you are becoming devotees. And I read in Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, this is when the point when Lord Chaitanya is going to take sannyas. So Lord Chaitanya was a householder for some time, but then he found that the intellectual class of people, the students, the Mayavadis, the philosophers, they were escaping his net. And there was a pastime where Lord Chaitanya was chanting the name Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And one student came to him and he asked him, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi, Gopi? You should be chanting Hare Krishna. And he tried to chastise Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya, he showed this pastime to show that you can't approach Krishna directly, you have to go through a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya became so angry, he got a stick and he started chasing that student. And the student became shaken up, he was very frightened. And he went to a group of other students, many of them. And he complained to them that I'm from a Brahman family, and Lord Chaitanya is from a Brahman family, his Nimai is from a Brahman family. What authority does he have to hit me with a stick? And all the other students, maybe 1,000 of them, they protested. They said, if he does this again, we'll all harm him. So Lord Chaitanya, being super soul everyone, because they were criticizing him, they lost their intelligence. So at that point, Lord Chaitanya told the associates, Lord Nityananda, Gadada, Mukunda, he told them all that I have to take sannyas now. Because 500 years ago, Kali Yuga was not so contaminated like it is now. People used to accept sannyas, they should respect sannyasis. So Lord Chaitanya took the sannyas order to deliver these people. That he would go as a beggar to them. And they would respect him, and this way they become delivered. So, in the material world, you won't get people to do that. People with some high prestige, high position, they won't come to a lower platform to help you become on the higher platform. It doesn't work like that. People are affected by the modes here and attached to their name and fame. Whereas Krishna, he's not attached like that. Lord Chaitanya, he just wants us to be reconnected with him because he knows that's going to make us happy. So Prabhupada said in one letter, he said, the whole material world is part of Krishna's creation. So even the material world is part of his creation. So you see a picture in the corner, Mahavishnu with other planets around. So the facility is given for the jivas to do their independent activities. But at some point, when the jiva becomes frustrated and not happy, then at that point, he comes back to Krishna. So, there's so when Lord Chaitanya, he went to see his mother, Sachi Mata, she was very disturbed that Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas, that she'll never see him again. So Lord Chaitanya, he pacified her and he said, in this situation, I'm going to incarnate in two more forms, in the deity form and the holy name. This is for the general mass of people. And then he gives a further elaboration in Chaitanya Bhagavat that there's 4 direct manifestations of the Lord at all times. Ganga, Tulsi, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Vaishnavas. They're 4 direct manifestations of the Lord. So you can contact them at all times. The deity has to be installed to become fully manifest. And the holy name is directly manifest, but then you have to become to a pure platform to appreciate that. So Lord Chaitanya's mercy is such that in the Srimad Bhagavatam it says that even if one accidentally chants the holy name, the example is given, there is two levels of Namabhas. There is 3 stages of chanting. There is Namaparad, Namabhas and Sudanam. So offensive chanting, clearing chanting and pure chanting. So it's explained like this, how even if one chants in Namabhas, so for example, if devotees are going on the street doing Harinam and people imitate the devotees chanting Hare Krishna, that's a Namabhas stage, lower level of Namabhas. So even in that stage, if someone chants and he imitates the chanting of the holy name, then by that he's leaving his body, he can go back to Vaikuntha. So the other higher stages, if one is chanting with pure intention, or trying to come to pure chanting, then he can attain Krishna Prem. So that shows how Krishna is very merciful, that he doesn't want the jivas to suffer here. He wants them to come back to him. And he's making so many arrangements. Like the temples are there to... these are like spiritual oases in the material world. You can come here and become relieved from miseries of the material world. You can get some peace. Like that. So, but at the same time, Krishna doesn't interfere with our independence, because he wants us to take responsibility. So, example is given that there are 3 kinds of doers. And Jiva is doer, and material nature is doer, and Krishna is doer. Super soul is doer. 3 things. So, ultimately everything is dependent on behind Krishna's sanction, because without his sanction, he says not even a blade of grass moves. But at the same time, Krishna gives us independence, because he wants us to take responsibility. So he wants us to learn our lesson. So before anything happens, the example is given how the jiva is the doer. It's like a child, he wants to lift a heavy item or heavy weight. He cannot do it. So what does happen? The father lifts the heavy weight. The fact is the child had a desire. And the fact that he had a desire, then the father fulfilled that desire. So in the same way, desire is manifest according to who we associate with. So, if we are associating with those who are line of purity, we'll get the pure desire to become pure. And if we associate with people who are mixed, then those desires will manifest to us. So, Lord Chaitanya's teaching starts with the point of understanding you are not the body. Prabhupada explained, Krishna could have finished Bhagavad Gita very quickly by telling everybody that give up all varieties of religion, just surrender to me, I'll free you from all sinful reactions. But Krishna knew that in the society, in the world, there are different classes of people with different conditioning, and they require different levels of teaching to come to the higher platform. So Krishna elaborated in Bhagavad Gita how people on different platforms come to the higher platform. But the teachings of Lord Chaitanya are very simple, that if we take to this chanting of the holy name of the Hare Krishna mantra and we serve the Vaishnavas, then very quickly we can achieve perfection. It says the holy name is manifest in all ages, but in Kali Yuga is more powerful because people have lifespan is very short. In other ages, there was much more opulence manifested in the material world. People could travel to higher planets. Their lifespan was longer, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 60,000 years. In Kali Yuga, the maximum lifespan is 100 years. Even now, maybe 60 years. So in this short lifespan, if someone takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, he can achieve perfection very quickly by going back to Godhead. This is why Srila Vyasadeva, he glorified Kali Yuga. Vyasadeva glorified Kali Yuga by saying that although the age of Kali Yuga is a degrading age where there's so much contamination, but in this age, if someone takes to chanting of the holy name very seriously, he can go back to Krishna very quickly. So that's a blessing of Kali Yuga. And there were instances of the different acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they all came to Mayapur at some point in their journey. And they had darshan of Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya told them all, you take birth in Kali Yuga. So they all assisted Lord Chaitanya in his mission. So, this is the beauty behind the teachings of what Srila Prabhupada is giving. He's giving these teachings how to connect to Lord Chaitanya. And he says, Sri Krishna Chaitanya doyo kara vichar kara chitpa chamatkar. That if you want to study logic and argument, you apply your logic and argument to teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And you see a wonderful result. So, any questions or comments? Okay. Well, the thing is, a devotee sees everything for Krishna's pleasure. So in that sense, he doesn't get affected with the material miseries of the material world, because he's doing everything for Krishna's pleasure. So he's not living for his own purpose, he's living for Krishna's purpose. Like Prabhupada said, I would have been happy in Vrindavan, but wherever I go is Vrindavan for me, because I'm following Krishna's instructions. So, to have that faith in Krishna is not so easy generally. Prabhupada said in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, he says, it takes from the previous lives of finances and austerities to have that piety, to have that faith in Krishna. But someone who does have that faith, he's in Vaikuntha, Vrindavan. So this is why there's different stages on the path of Krishna consciousness. First, when you come to Krishna consciousness, there is faith and sadhu sangha, then bhajana kriya. You get the unwanted things coming out the heart. Then you take a spiritual master. By his training, you come to nishtha, firm faith. Firm faith. From that, you come to attachment to Krishna's teachings more. Then taste. Then bhava, which is next to prema. So this is a scientific process to come to that platform. But Lord Chaitanya is very merciful that there's an example given how there was one boy, in Lord Chaitanya's time, where Lord Chaitanya went to use the bathroom, and when coming back, he was going there. He was holding his tongue, and everyone was asking, "Why are you doing that, Lord Chaitanya? What's the purpose of you doing that?" And Lord Chaitanya said, "I'm doing a filthy activity. It's not a good thing to go to the toilet while the tongue is vibrating the holy name." So this boy, Gopal Guru, he became a Gopal Guru later. His name was Gopal. And he told Lord Chaitanya that we should chant the holy name in all circumstances, even go in the toilet, because you can leave your body any time. So Lord Chaitanya glorified him. He said, "You said the correct thing. I call you Gopal Guru." So in this story is given, this is in Surrender Unto Me, it's elaborated. It says that Krishna is very pleased, even if you're not on that platform of chanting the holy name all the time, but you endeavor to chant like that. Krishna is very pleased by that. Like in this instance, Lord Chaitanya, he gave the boy, he gave him promotion immediately to becoming a guru. So that shows how but generally people are not that strong enough to carry on. They get covered over by different situations, but if someone's determined like that, he can make fast advancement. But generally that requires some level of knowledge and training. But generally it's done from previous life also. It's not just from this life. In the Jaiva Dharma is given how people are distracted in many ways sometimes. But there's one person, he came in touch with an advanced devotee, and by his mercy he came to the advanced platform. So it's not with your own strength you can do it sometimes. You have to have mercy from others around you who give you the mercy how to do it. Example is given, just like even in the material world, you don't live by your own strength, you live with people around you. So even in spiritual life, to advance, you have to have blessings from other people around you. Like that. Any other comments or questions? Okay, I'll stop here. 5 minutes to go. Huh?
That applies in current situation. The world is a miserable place at the moment.
Yeah, but see, it's a miserable place for the non-devotees. But for the devotees, it doesn't affect. For the devotees, they're under Krishna's protection. If you're trying to be a devotee, you're protected. You become fearless. Because you know Krishna is protecting you. Like Prabhupada gives an example. He says, people deny next life because if they knew what they're going to be in the next life, they'll become horrified. That's why they deny the next life. You see, like that. But for the devotee, because he's following properly, he has nothing to worry. Because he knows whatever happens, Krishna is looking after him. Okay, I'll stop here. We can speak later, because it's nearly 7 o'clock. Antaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, yeah. I take this here, take it out. Just take this.